Performance Kitchen, and I'm delighted to say with his golden locks, I'm here to introduce England and Team GB Sevens captain, Tom Mitchell. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so what are we cooking?
So today I'm going to try and rustle up a chicken and chorizo pearl barley risotto. So it's quite a good sort of healthy option, but it's also quite comforting. It's like comfort food as well. So it's pretty simple as well, easy to do. Start off just by cutting up a couple of the key ingredients. So just for the flavours, the onion and the garlic, get that going in a pan, nice and easy. Fry off the chicken, get that nice and browned. Chuck the chorizo in as well. Season that up so you get the flavours going nicely. Get the pearl barley cooking up, which is obviously the bulk of it. So it's a nice filling dish. And
what you need. When would you normally eat a dish like this?
So it's nice, to be honest, post-training, it's a really nice filling one. You're also rebuilding what you need in terms of your store. So you've got your protein, you've also got the carbohydrate from the pearl barley. And the pearl barley is a nice change-up. I think most people, when they're doing the risotto, normally use rice, but this is a slightly different alternative, maybe a bit healthier as well.
Yeah, definitely a change. Right, okay, should we get started?
Let's get going.
Right, so do you want to chop the chicken or the chorizo?
I was gonna start by chopping the onion.
Ideal, yeah, go on then.
Just get into that.
Do you want me to start chopping the chorizo?
This is where I'm going to start crying on camera, isn't it?
Yeah. You need to do, what is it, the wooden spoon trick or
a spoon or a
something
matchstick or something in your mouth, apparently.
Chorizo, am I just chopping it in sort of?
I'll tell you what, just chop that into like slices.
Slices,
or
yeah.
Like
sort of medium length slices.
Slices and then
chunks.
Halves. Chunks. Whatever you want.
Whatever, you can get, yeah, you can
it's
kind
nice
of
to
do what you want.
rustic.
Absolutely.
Because that leaves a lot of margin for error.
Yeah.
With my chopping.
That's what you just call it, rustic for everything, don't you?
Exactly.
Okay. So chorizo is one of those foods, isn't it, that just makes everything taste better.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've done this before with bacon, but the chorizo just gives it a bit of an added kick. It's nice.
And a bit of colour as well.
Yeah.
So obviously you've just come back from Vancouver. Fantastic result out there. What was that moment like, lifting the trophy on the podium?
It's an amazing feeling because after a long tournament, especially that was the second week of the pair, we'd been in Las Vegas the week before, so you're feeling pretty sore, pretty tired, and even before the final, we were all saying to each other, "I'm pretty tired here. I'm not sure how much I've got left." And so there's the kind of relief, I guess, is when you get to the end of a tournament, especially when you're lifting the trophy, knowing that all the hard work was kind of worth it. It's an amazing feeling, and it's only 3 times I've actually been able to do that. So
3, I mean, still.
I say only 3.
That's still a great achievement, isn't it? And you mentioned there that you're tired. With being a sevens player, you do so much travelling, don't you? How does that affect what you eat and when you eat and how you eat? Surely jet lag is pretty tough.
Yeah, so it's something that we've really looked into because obviously it's a big performance hindrance if you're not 100% when you go into a tournament. So we've got all sorts of different strategies to try and combat the bad foods we might eat at times. So aeroplane is a good example. Like we've all had aeroplane food before, and it's not the best.
No.
And it's not nutritionally very sound. So often what we'll do is we have these like flight packs, which are basically glorified pot noodles, but they're packed full of good nutrients and good carbohydrates and protein and stuff. So it basically means you're getting something decent in on that journey. So you're not turning up to the tournament depleted.
Yeah.
And it's a big way of avoiding jet lag as well. Getting a good plan in place in terms of your eating.
Absolutely.
That's quite a big thing.
You don't have that much time normally, do you? It's not like you get to a tournament and you've got 3 or 4 days or weeks to relax before the game. It's normally, what do you get there?
Yeah, so we try and get there about a week in advance.
Okay.
Because especially when we're going around the world to places like New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, the jet lag takes. It takes you sort of 3 or 4 days to get over that anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes longer. So you kind of have to account for that. We try and get out there. We'll do a bit of training in the week, in the build-up, acclimatise as well, because when we were out in Sydney, I think we were playing in sort of degrees, which was ridiculous.
Yeah,
not something we were used to.
No, we don't get that here, do
English
we?
winter. And we're doing. We're actually trying to acclimatise for Hong Kong at the moment, and part of that is sitting in a sauna for 20 minutes after training. So after a strenuous session, we'll just go and jump in the sauna to try and get used to the humidity and help our bodies adjust a little bit to that.
Oh, well, that's not that bad, is it, really?
Well, I don't know. Have you ever sat in a sauna for 20 minutes?
Probably not. I probably think I have. It's probably only been about 5 minutes, actually.
Well, that's the thing.
So
5 minutes is lovely, and then it hits a point where you're like, I quite like to get out now.
They just lock you in.
Yeah. But at the same time, you can't complain if your training is sitting in a sauna. It doesn't sound like it's the most strenuous thing. So
No. You're pretty lucky that you get to travel all over these places, but I imagine it's not necessarily as glamorous as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because the stuff we've been able to do and the place I've been able to see is amazing. But yeah, there are times when you kind of, you're in the hotel room and it's like maybe not the nicest hotel or something, and you're jet lagged and you can't sleep properly, and it's, you know, there are downsides to it, but yeah, I wouldn't swap it. So,
No, it's still pretty good life. Right, okay, let's get, so I've chopped the chicken, is that
brilliant.
okay?
Yeah, you've nailed it.
Yeah, brilliant.
I just chop this
Rustic.
garlic really badly, because when
that.
I get lazy at home, I just put it in the crusher straight in.
Yeah, that's what we need here today, don't we?
That's
right,
right.
and then we just chuck all this in the pan?
Yeah, so I'll heat it up on here. So first of all, we're just going to pop the pearl barley in the water.
Yeah.
Takes about 40 minutes to go, so we'll get that on first thing.
Similar to rice, and is it cold water that you put on top of it?
So you put that in boiling water. You can rinse it beforehand in cold water, I think. Not that I ever do.
No.
I take the
It's one of those things they say on the
chuck
packet,
it straight
but
in.
you don't need to do it.
So
Fine.
just, in with boiling water until it's kind of nice and soft.
Nice. Let that simmer away.
Exactly.
And then this into a pan. Do we need any oil or anything like that?
Yeah, so chuck a bit of oil in the pan. You can, to be honest, I mix up what oils I use when I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I often cook with coconut oil and stuff, but mix it up. To be honest, whatever's in the kitchen, I will use.
Yeah.
So.
Pressure.
Put in probably too much there, but there we go.
Right, so let the oil heat up and then we'll pop this in, yeah? Right, okay, so what's next? Gonna pop that in the...
Yep, so we're going to actually get it going now, chuck it in the pan, we'll chuck the onion in, the garlic, and then we'll get the chicken on as well.
Lovely.
Oh, nice and hot there, get that going. Enough of that. So we'll chuck the chicken in with it as well.
Yep. Can you do that one?
Thank you.
Got the knife, there we go.
Thanks. Shut that in a little bit.
Oh, and a little bit of chicken on the end.
Well, look, missed a bit of that.
Missed a bit.
We don't want it feeling left out.
One job. Lovely.
Did you say there was a wooden spoon somewhere?
Yeah, in this one.
The big drawer labelled cutlery.
So this meal you would eat when you're after training, but what would you eat normally before training?
So before training, normally for breakfast, it's a bit of a challenge because we're trying to get in sort of decent food, but you don't want to eat too much if you're about to, thank you, if you're going straight into a session. So normally in the morning, eggs are awesome. Like eggs are just such a good go-to option. The protein, all the good fats in them. Another good food in the morning that a lot of the boys have is the avocado. So if you have eggs, avocado, and maybe a slice of bread, it's really dense with its energy. So you end up getting like a good sustained energy release from it, which is important going through the day. And then what I'm really into at the moment is just porridge. Just loving porridge at the moment.
Nice
You
bit
can
of
just
oats.
chuck anything in.
When it's cold outside as well, isn't it? You
So
want something to
comforting,
warm you up in the mornings, yeah.
So yeah, a bit of porridge with some berries, a bit of coconut oil mixed in as well for some extra energy as well.
Sweetness. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, good. And then do you take, I imagine that you take different supplements, proteins, stuff like that. Do you normally take anything before you train?
Yeah, so often we'll take a protein supplement just to just to aid with that recovery. Normally have that kind of either after gym a lot of the time, just because it's easy to get it in, or if there's going to be a bit of a break between meals, it's just a really good option. Sometimes in the morning as well, because it's just an easy option if you're feeling lazy in the morning. Right, now it's time for the chorizo to go in, so just chuck that in the pan as well. Just add it in.
Because chorizo doesn't take very long to cook at all, does it?
No,
Almost just to brown it off, really.
Exactly, and it just, what we see now as well is that colour you were saying earlier is nice.
Because you eat with your eyes, don't you? So it gives you that bit of, ooh.
Exactly.
And the pearl barley is the same sort of colour as well, I suppose. So
yeah, so if you don't have anything colourful in there, and that's why it's nice, we'll finish it off with a bit of the rocket on top, just because it gives it a nice bit of colour and also some greenery.
Is spinach another option that you could potentially add in?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can mix the spinach in. If I was going to do spinach, probably chuck it in the mix so it wilts in it and it's quite, it just sort of blends in with the rest of the dish. You can chuck anything in. I think you can add as much or as little as you want in terms of veg. It's really good to do, like you can throw peas in, a nice option. You can do a different variation on it, which I sometimes do with leeks as well. Which is a bit of a different kind of flavour.
You kind of just use whatever's in the fridge, really, can't you? Chuck it all in.
Exactly. And for someone like me who's not usually very well organised, it is a case of, right, what's in the fridge and then what am I making? And
is this something that maybe you could take in a Tupperware and take away with you, you know, and eat it at a later time? Sometimes if you're travelling or whatever and you're on a long coach journey.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So often when I make it, I'll just make as, again, not planning it very well, I'll probably make way too much. But it's great, just chuck it in the Tupperware, put it in the fridge, and I'll have it for lunch the next day. And you can have it hot or cold, to be honest. It's not, I mean, maybe that's just me not being fussy, but I don't know. I think it tastes good either way. Okay, so all that's nearly done. Yeah, I'm just going to slice a couple of these in half, and then we'll chuck a bit of seasoning in as that's sizzling away there. Yeah, lovely. So you've obviously travelled all over the place and you've probably eaten all sorts. What's been your sort of your favourite ever meal or favourite ever place to eat, the type of food that you've eaten? Ooh, that's a good question. I'd say we've been twice to this steak place in South Africa, in Cape Town. Obviously they're pretty big into their meats over there and their steak. We had an amazing, well, twice now I've had an amazing steak over there. So that's a highlight. That's up there. Was it big? Huge, yeah. So they did, I mean, excessive, but they had 1 kilo T-bones that they were doing. So the boys obviously saw that as a bit of a challenge and thought, yeah, I'll take that on. Eyes too big for their belly, maybe? Exactly. Right, I'll just chuck these in. Lovely. Oh, I've lost another, I've lost one. See, you keep just leaving one behind. But, so these don't take long at all, do they? It's more for the kind of... Yeah, these aren't, I'm not really putting them in to cook them as such. It's just nice to heat them through a little bit and they just soften up a little bit with the heat. And it's just another vegetable, isn't it, added in, so that extra goodness that you're going to get from that. And it's a nice flavour as well, it gives you that bit of sweetness alongside it all, which is good. Great, should we drain off the pearl barley? Yeah. Yeah. Do that now. Here's on there. Right, I'll give you that. So just season it up, yeah. I like pepper, so I normally chuck quite a lot in, like that flavour. Because you could add chilli to this, couldn't you, to heat up? Yeah, absolutely. If that's the kind of thing, the kind of flavour you like, it's a decent amount of pepper in there. Keep going. So you don't need too much extra salt because the chorizo is normally quite salty. So just a little bit, just because I wanted to do that. So just had to get that in there. Just get that in. Just a little bit of extra salt. Lovely. Stir it up a little bit. Yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll chuck the pearl barley in, which has already been cooked in the water. Yeah. We'll just chuck it in to mix it up. So then it just soaks up all the flavours, doesn't it? So you're just blending it all in, basically. This is when it starts to hopefully resemble risotto. A decent risotto dish. So you don't need to add any sort of stock or anything like that, it's just... Yeah, so you can do, if you, again, if you want to sort of juice it up a little bit. But that's obviously what we'll add the yogurt at the end, which gives it the that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? The moisture,
Yeah.
I guess. Because obviously at the moment it's quite dry.
But you've still
without
got
anything
this.
else.
You've still got the juice from
You've got
the
the juices
chorizo
from the meats
chorizo and the chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could maybe.
So you don't need to add the yogurt if you don't want to. If you prefer it like this, and then.
So do you just add the yogurt
So
as almost like a garnish at the end, or do you heat it?
So the reason I use yogurt, so you can use like cream or anything like that, but I go for the yogurt because it's a healthier option. It's actually, I eat that quite a lot just for snacks.
That stuff's really good, isn't it? So it's really high in protein.
Yeah, so it's really high protein.
It's quite high in it's quite
like,
high in fat,
yeah, all the
but
good
fat's
stuff.
right. You
Yeah.
know, you need fat, don't you? Especially when you're training.
Yeah, and there's a balance with fats. I think we're very pro-fat at the moment. Like society seems to be the trend, and I'm not sure. Like speaking to a couple of people who know a lot more than me about nutrition, it is still a bit of a balance. You can still be taking in too many fats. You know, people think, oh, it's good fats, I'll just chuck it all in, but actually there's still a balance. It's like everything. So yeah, I'll just take that off the heat, and then, because there is a risk sometimes that this can, making other dishes with this, it does curdle a bit if it's too hot, but it's fine. It should be fine in this.
Right, do you want some plates? We'll bring the pan over into the... So you're going to put that on when you plate it up, sorry.
So I'm going to chuck this in now.
Right, okay.
And just mix it in. And you can just add as you go, depending on how much you want.
And it's quite thick, isn't it, that yogurt? So it does really give quite a sort of...
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, because it's, you know, as opposed to using
makes
cream,
it quite luxurious, doesn't it, as well?
Luxurious, I like that. A luxurious dish. Yeah, exactly.
But it's healthy, but it's still
it gives it this
nice.
comfort food element, which is nice, yeah. Especially, this is great in the winter, I think, when you need something healthy, but you want something that makes you feel warm and cozy.
Yeah, and full as well.
And full, yeah, absolutely. So you can see that, you know, you're saying before about whether you need to add any stock or anything, but now it's quite a nice, creamy kind of dish. Just that heat, just sort of softening the yogurt a little bit.
It's great. So do you miss cooking then when you're in and out of hotels and things?
Do you know what? You get very lazy when you're in hotels because everything's laid on, and they do all the teams, all the sevens teams. We all stay in the same hotel, so they will organise kind of a whole food room for the tournament, and yeah, you do get lazy. Do I miss not cooking when we're away? Probably not really. I don't know. It's bad because my mum's actually. She used to do catering. She still works in the kitchen now, so she's been a sort of cook all her life, chef. I don't know, cook, chef.
Yeah, we should call it chef.
I'll call her chef.
We'll call it chef. Make it feel good. Hi, Mum.
Yeah, she's very self-deprecating about it all. So, but yeah, because she was so good, so I didn't really do that much growing up because she was very much in control of the kitchen.
Yeah, and she probably enjoyed it and
she
wanted
enjoyed
to.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I also think I probably learnt some good stuff from her as well.
She'd be proud of this.
Well, I hope so.
Has she tried it?
No.
Right, well, you need to cook it for it. It's Mother's Day, isn't it? So
yeah, I'll cook it for her.
So you cook it for her. Okay, right, so we're going to
so
tip it over and plate up.
Bring that over here.
Brilliant, pop it down the middle.
That's the bit of truth there.
You're having a
Excuse
shocker,
fingers.
aren't you? Leaving things
Just
out.
keep leaving one bit out. Is that right on there?
Yeah.
So
That's
then
great.
it depends if, do you reckon this would be better in it or on top? However you want it.
I think on top will look good for photos. Yeah.
Okay.
I think let's put it on top.
Shall I plate it up?
A bit of rocket as a garnish for the colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on then. If you plate up one each.
Right.
And then we'll leave a bit in the pan as well. Thank you.
Probably put the tomatoes in a bit early because they disappeared.
Thank you. Looks great. So would you put any more seasoning on it as you serve, or you kind of?
Yeah, just the kind of taste, really.
Yeah.
As I say, I'll probably put a bit more pepper on there.
Brilliant.
So
a bit of rocket.
just a little bit of rocket on top, just to make it look pretty.
Nice pop of colour.
Yeah.
Plus a bit of goodness. Again, you could use even raw spinach or any sort of salad, really, couldn't you, on top?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe a bit of dab of pepper.
Thank you.
And also, you know, if you're feeling like you need extra comfort food, you can just do a bit of parmesan on top.
Ooh,
It
yeah,
just sits
a nice
nicely.
little finish. It's good, isn't it? Really tasty.
It's come out right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in the Performance Kitchen. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more healthy recipes. And should we have a bit more? Let's
Tuck
dig
in.
in.